Hello, Hannah Chelsea, the baby maven here, and I am so excited to welcome you to today's expert interview. You are going to get so much out of our discussion today, and I know you're just going to love our guest expert. I've had the privilege of getting to know her in person, and I think she's pretty freaking amazing. Jillian Zakarian is the founder and managing director of Modern Governess, LLC. She consults with families regarding their childcare needs and refers quality, professional childcare specialists for private household employment. She and her company are awesome. So on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Jill so she can tell us a bit more about herself and how she got into the biz.
Thank you, Hannah. I'm so happy to be here. So a little bit about me and my background and how Modern Governess really came about. So I'm a certified teacher in 3 different content areas, and I have a master's degree in education. And my whole entire work history and career has been in childcare and education. I've worked with students of all ages, and I think my most meaningful work experience has been working with parents with children that are 6 years old and younger. And I was part of, their entire development, academic, cognitive, language, and literacy development. And it just was something that was really meaningful to me. And so how Modern Governess came about, it was a culmination of my own education, my own background, my own work history. I worked and am blessed to work with so many different families and children. And unfortunately, there's one of me. I can't be every parent and child's quote unquote modern governess. So my business is my way of extending my knowledge, my expertise, and reaching all different families so they can find their quality care provider.
Yeah, and you offer such an incredible service. As you know, I was a nanny governess years ago, and I so wish you had existed back then because man, oh man, is it a service that is so needed and so helpful for families.
Yeah.
And on that note, I wanted you to, take a few minutes to tell us actually what services you provide at Modern Governess and kind of what a Modern Governess is.
Sure. So again, my whole philosophy is my business is based on my teaching, my child development philosophy. And it's so important the first 5 years of a child's life. It really determines their future academic and emotional success. And it's interesting because there's so much more research coming out about that. And even the government is funding a lot of early educational programs because they understand how influential that is. So my service, we do full placement package to help you find if you're looking for a nanny or a quote unquote modern governess. And so our full placement package is literally everything you need to discover, hire, and retain your perfect childcare specialist. We do sourcing, recruiting. We'll help you write your job description. We'll meet with you, the family, to understand your needs. And we do a family needs assessment. And we do face-to-face interviews. If they're not a local candidate, we do video conferencing interviews. We do the background checks. We set up the interviews on your behalf. We do it all and make sure, that you have a successful placement process after you've hired your perfect childcare specialist. And we break down the services into a la carte services because there's some families that maybe, you've hired your great nanny or your great governess, but you just need a background check. We can do that. Or maybe, you need to call references, and references can be very, very time consuming for families. You need to understand the appropriate questions and legal questions to ask, yet still be able to gain that information that you need to make a sound hiring decision. So we kind of have a full placement package, should take everything off your hands, and also little services. And anything that you need, we can customize a package for our families.
Wow, that's so absolutely incredible. I love it. This is so cool. And I know you threw around a nanny and a governess. Could you tell our viewers a little bit more about the difference between a nanny, a governess, and the other childcare options, babysitters or au pairs or daycare?
So I'll start with a nanny. So a nanny is someone who's going to take care of your child's physical, emotional, and developmental needs. And of course, they're going to plan learning activities, but a governess is doing more of that structured curriculum and really bringing that teaching aspect in. And a modern governess is someone who's going to be college grade or higher, someone like me who has the teaching, the childcare experience, is going to take care of your child's physical, developmental, emotional needs, but also bringing in that learning aspect. For a babysitter. So a babysitter is someone who is kind of coming in just, as needed, maybe for a date night, and only for like a particular amount of time. So when you're looking for a babysitter, it can be a neighbor. It's not going to be someone who's going to really influence your child and really cultivate their entire well-being. It's kind of, as needed, making sure they're safe, they're fed, they're put to bed. Au pair. Question about au pairs too. So au pairs, nannies, governesses, they're all different. So in au pair, that is going to be someone who's coming from a different country. So au pairs are typically, they're younger, they're 18 to 26. They're mostly women. There can be, male au pairs. And as a family, you're hosting the au pair in your house. It's not like a nanny or governess who you're actually hiring. This is something you're hosting. So it's a cultural exchange. It's not, au pairs aren't particularly coming to work with your family to, obviously they take care of your child's needs, but they're not professional childcare specialists. A lot of them, they don't have experience working with children. So if you have an infant, a baby, you have to be aware of that. Also, you're inviting someone into your home. So there can be a language barrier, cultural differences can be a wonderful experience. But you have to make sure you have like a place for them, a bed, their own area, and also doing some house rules too, because they are, they're younger that are coming in, but it can be a wonderful experience for families.
Could you also quick touch on daycare?
Yes, daycare. So daycare is going to be a group setting. And so the differences between, I would say, hiring a nanny and a governess. So that is going to be a customized care for your child. Daycares, that's going to be a group setting. And if your child is, a little bit apprehensive or a little bit shy, it's a stimulating learning environment. As the parents, you're not hiring the teacher. You don't get to choose, who's going to be your child's teacher. You don't get to choose the structure of the day. You don't get to choose the hours, unlike a nanny or a governess. You're creating that job description. They can meet your family's needs. If you want household duties, that can be negotiating your contract. And it's customized care for your family and for your child. And I have a very, family-focused and child-focused approach when I'm helping families find their ideal childcare provider. And also with daycare, it's set schedules. So if you are full-time working parents and you have kind of an atypical work schedule, it's not going to be as accommodating versus a nanny governess. Again, you're creating their work schedule. So they're going to work around you and your needs. And most daycares they're closed at 6. So you have to figure in the commute time and all that. So it might not be the best option for families.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I can see the pros definitely of getting a modern governess, because that is so nice that it really is tailored to your family. You have somebody who's such an incredible fit. And I know, Jill, that you work really hard to make sure that each family gets like the perfect candidates in front of them. And then they can really choose somebody that is exactly what their family needs, whatever that is.
Yeah, and that is true, whatever that is. Yeah, I believe in that. Yeah. And also, I think, sometimes families will ask me, hey, I'm just concerned about the socialization aspect. And I know in daycare, they're going to be around so many children. And I'm like, that's kind of a myth when it comes to hiring a nanny and a governess, because you can create the amount of socialization you want for your child. If you want a lot or a little, nannies have nanny friends. They do play dates. There's a lot of, free community activities. You can go to storytelling groups or just any type of play date. So it's kind of built-in socialization that you want for your child. And, maybe you want a lot of socialization, maybe you need a little bit. And again, that's customized, and that's something that you speak with when you're hiring a particular nanny or a governess.
That's awesome. I love it how you tailor it exactly to each family. And that is true. I can understand that people would say like, well, what about socialization? And it's so nice because with a nanny or a governess, like you can even like choose exactly kind of like who your kids socialize with or in what ways, like music classes or library classes, things that you find important in life.
Yeah. And also it's the comfort of your home, which is so important. Parents that you're rushing to work in the mornings, you don't have to worry, that your nanny or governess can provide food, dress your children, make sure they're good. They're going to help you kind of balance that whole, work life and make you less stressed and very calming.
I mean, that sounds pretty good. Who wants, who wouldn't want less stress in their lives, especially with little kids running around? Mm-hmm. Something that I'd love to cover is, like, when is the ideal time for people to start asking for, or like looking into childcare options, asking for support, things like that? Because I think a lot of people underestimate how long it takes to really, go through this process, secure good childcare.
Mm-hmm. I always suggest to families that this is going to be overwhelming for those that are just pregnant, but within the first trimester, you really should kind of get your ducks in the row and figure out, okay, am I going to go down that in-home care provider route, or am I going to go daycare or au pair or any type of childcare option? You really should figure that out again, like that, the first trimester. If you go down the daycare route, you have to understand that quality daycares, there can be like a year waiting list. So you have to, again, do your due diligence, do your homework, and start early. And also, you want to be comfortable for whichever is your decision, childcare provider, whoever you choose, or whatever, route you go down, you want to be comfortable with it. So you want to do your homework, and you want to, interview different nannies, interview governesses, or go to different daycare centers and kind of figure out what works for you, your family, and your child.
Yeah, and I think also, and I know you've mentioned this to me before, that it's important to also add in like a bit of cushion time, that if you want to be able to do a trial week, or it can be really helpful when you bring somebody into your home to be able to work with them for an amount of time before it's like, you don't want them to start February 1st, and that's also your first day back at work.
Mm-hmm. That's really important, because as a parent, you want to be comfortable with whomever's coming into your home. You want to acclimate them, and you kind of want to see them interacting with your child. So it just gives you a peace of mind. So you always, more time, the better. And I appreciate when families reach out to me, even if you, are pregnant the first trimester and you're not going to need a nanny for a while and you'll be on maternity leave. That's fine. Reach out sooner, the better.
Okay, that's awesome. And viewers, I hope you really heard that. The earlier you start this, the better, because, time is of the essence. And once that baby arrives, you're probably not going to be thinking, oh, I need to be thinking about childcare right now. And so if you give the process all the time that it really needs, you're going to be so happy with the outcome. Mm-hmm. So Jill, I want to run through some of like the key points so that our viewers can make sure that they can connect with you, they can benefit from all that you're offering. So we're going to start with, what is the name of your business?
Modern Governess.
Okay. What are you all about?
I'm all about helping families find their ideal in-home childcare specialist.
I love it. So concise. What's one snippet of advice you'd like to share with pregnant moms, new moms?
The idea of perfect mom is an absolute myth. It really is. Ask for resources. You can't do it all, and that's okay. You don't have to do it all. There's so many professionals in your community that reach out, they'll help you. For instance, I get asked all the time, do you know a doula? I don't personally offer any doula services, and I don't refer doulas, but I have doula friends, and I can recommend doulas for a family. So you reach out to these professionals, they have a whole network of great quality friends that they can provide to you.
That is so true. That like, there's no harm in asking, and there's no harm in saying like, you know what? I could use a little support here, or a little bit of help, or something like that. Like the quote, "It takes a village to raise a child," like is there for a reason. Like we're here to support each other.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And also, I want to know, how can our viewers find you? Like website, Facebook, Twitter, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Website is www.moderngoverness.com. My Twitter is twitter.com/mgoverness. My Facebook page is Modern Governess.
Awesome. So viewers, you can also get all of that information you need to get in touch with Jill and find out more about Modern Governess in the email that you received with this video link. And Jill, thank you again so much for taking the time to talk with me today, to share your expertise. It's always a joy talking with you, and I'm so thrilled that you were able to be on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Hannah. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been fun. All right, viewers, so until next time, I hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed today's interview.